Guys, so today we are going to be doing a 5-minute makeup routine. So I'm just going to kind of share my 5-minute makeup routine with you guys, and I also wanted to kind of talk to you about how I got started on YouTube and maybe give you guys a little bit of encouragement. So anyways, let's go ahead and jump into it. Okay, so in 2005 I graduated from college, and I went to get a teaching degree because I felt like that was something that was something that I would enjoy, because I kind of was like, I really don't know what I want to do. So anyway, so after I kind of figured out what I wanted to do and I went to college for a while, I decided that I was going to do the teaching thing. And so I wound up spending like 6 years in college because I couldn't decide what I wanted to do. So I minored in special education, and I also had a bachelor's in education itself. And so anyways, I wound up doing education, and I taught for I don't know, 4 or 5 years, something like that. Anyway, so after I taught for a while, my husband and I decided we wanted to try for a baby. It was something we had talked about after I finished college and all of that good stuff. And so we had my daughter, and I wasn't crazy about leaving her, but the school that I worked at, the principal was very strict on like how many hours we worked. So he was a strong believer in things like PTA and before school programs, after school programs. We also had to do a lot of like meetings with students, like progress meetings. So after school I had tutorials, and then before school we had like STEM. And if you don't know what that is, it's like programs like computer programs, science programs, things like that, tutorials. So anyway, we had like all of this stuff that we were doing, and so I was literally working from like 7 in the morning until like 8 at night. Most nights I was never off at like 3. And so my husband was keeping a full-time job, and he was also taking care of our daughter full-time. And on the weekends I would come home and do like lesson plans, and then I also had to like grade papers, and I would do that at night also. I would have to like kind of get stuff ready for the next day, whatever I was going to teach, and just make sure that everything was ready for the day, and I had all my stuff ready and all of that good stuff. Oh, I dropped that. Anyways, so after a while, I kind of got really old, and so my husband and I were like, okay, we've got to figure out something, because you're working too many hours and you're never home. And it was just a lot on one person trying to work full time and take care of a child, which kudos to anybody that does that, because that's a lot. But anyway, so we did that for a couple of years, and we kind of juggled back and forth, me staying at home, and we just couldn't quite decide on what we wanted to do. And at the time, my husband wasn't making like a ton of money, but it was just a lot on him, trying to keep up with the house, because on top of everything else, like he was keeping up with the house, doing the meals and paying the bills and just everything, you know, it's just a lot. Just doing the single parent thing basically while I worked nonstop. And then a couple years later, I had my son, and I had told my boss that I was going to take like 4 weeks, 6 weeks, something like that. But the school actually allows you to take 12 weeks if there's like a medical reason behind it. And if you guys don't know anything about my son, or if you're new to my channel, he has autism, and he also has like a severe eating disorder. And because of his eating disorder, he had problems and complications from the time he was born. And anyway, and so I winded up taking like the 12 weeks instead of the 6. And so my boss was not happy because he was like, you know, you didn't keep your word. You told me you were going to come back after 6 weeks. And I tried to explain to him, you know, unforeseen circumstances happened, and, you know, my son has a disability. And anyway, he just wasn't too happy, and I just didn't feel like I was loving my job anymore, because I felt like I was kind of walking on eggshells, and my son was just constantly needing like therapy and medical specialists, and we were having to go back and forth to Dallas and just taking time off and just all of those things. And he just needed a lot of support. And so my husband and I just kind of figured that if I was gonna have to be taking off work to do medical appointments and stuff, because at first we were kind of switching back and forth, and it just got too much. And then it winded up that my son was gonna need to stay 8 weeks in Dallas in the hospital there because of his eating disorder. And so we winded up just deciding that we felt that it was best for me just to stay home with him full time. And so I winded up doing that. I quit. And when he was about, I want to say about a year old, I decided that I was gonna start teaching from home. And at the time, they had a program where you could teach kids English in China, which they may still have it, but I was fired because of the fact that they felt that they didn't want to keep on teachers here in America. And so the company ended up letting me go. And after that, I decided that I'm just going to do full-time YouTube, because like whenever I started it, I was kind of watching a lot of YouTube videos on like how to do classes and all the trainings and stuff. And I thought, well, I can definitely do that. I could definitely do these classes myself and like show other people that may be new to it and not knowing how to do it, and like show example classes and stuff like that. So for the first year or so, I did that. And then I decided that I wanted to do cleaning and like mommy life, because that's what I did every day. So I figured, why not do that full time? And so that's why I started making these videos. And actually recently I got monetized not too long ago. So I'm still pretty new to all like the monetization stuff and affiliate links and all that kind of stuff. But there is definitely a lot of ways you can make money and all that good stuff. But I'm definitely still learning all of it. And I haven't quite mastered it just yet. I'm definitely still learning, but I think it's getting easier for sure. So anyways, but I hope that that kind of gives you some encouragement on, like, if you're wanting to start YouTube, I would just say like, just go for it, because like just getting that first video out there is the hardest, I think, because I was so worried about like what other people would think and all that kind of stuff. And I even had some of my family members that laughed about my YouTube videos and things, but it's just something that I enjoy. And I feel like if you're looking for something to make money like quick, it's not an all out quick scheme on getting money. or anything like that, but YouTube is a good way to like make money. And so far I've only made like a couple $100, but like I said, it's something that I'm passionate about, and right now it's kind of more of like a hobby. I would love to be able to make more money and be able to do it full time and support my family and that kind of stuff, but it's definitely something that I'm still working on and still learning. So anyways, but like I said, I hope that this gives you a little bit of encouragement. And if you guys are planning on starting a YouTube channel, the only thing I can say is go for it. There is no right or wrong way to do it. I did learn a lot of like SEO stuff, which is like the description and how to do the videos and what to put in the videos and what kind of titles and things like that. I did learn a lot of that from watching other videos on YouTube. So there are so many different things that you can learn from courses on YouTube and things like that. So definitely go for it. And if you guys are new and you enjoyed this short little video, make sure you give this video a thumbs up, and I will see you guys in the next video. Bye guys.